So listen, there's a very strong possibility that Donald Trump would have never been the president of the United States had we known about Steve Bannon's connections to Jeffrey Epstein. And in response to something I said about it, this person says, there's absolutely no evidence that connects Steve Bannon with Jeffrey Epstein. And just to remind you, Steve Bannon was Donald Trump's chief strategist and closest advisor in the White House. But the fact is, Steve Bannon advised Jeffrey Epstein for years on how to rehabilitate his reputation of being a pedo. Text messages show. And listen, Donald Trump's DOJ found out about all of this during Donald Trump's first administration in late 2018. Steve Bannon's secret Epstein videos, the tale of the tapes. This talks about how Steve Bannon documented 15 hours of time in a 60-minute style documentary at Jeffrey Epstein's home, trying to make him look normal. This is the person who was the chief strategist for the president of the United States. His entire job when he worked for Jeffrey Epstein was to make him look like less of a pedo. And if all of this had been known prior to Donald Trump getting elected the first time, and as close as that election was, it is perfectly reasonable to assume that he would not have won that election and would have never been the president of the United States. But why? Or how is it that we did not know that the guy that was basically running Donald Trump's campaign, it was his chief strategist, was the PR guy for the most well-known, notorious pedo on the planet? How did we miss that? And of course we didn't find out about it when the government did, because Donald Trump was the president. And this stuff was covered up and hidden for years, and it was able to be further covered up with the prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell. But the ties between Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon are undeniable. And now that means there was multiple people connected to Jeffrey Epstein that served in the first Trump administration, including Alex Acosta, the guy that gave Jeffrey Epstein the sweetheart deal in his first prosecution, where he basically got off scot-free for trafficking children. And now we know why Steve Bannon says we're all going to prison if this comes out. We're all going to prison. He admitted it in public. And look, a lot of people have known for a long time, Steve Bannon, just look at him. He's creepy. There's something really off about that guy. Well, now we know what it is. And I think it's time we find out exactly how much further Bannon's relationship with Epstein went than we even know at this point. But we're not going to, because Donald Trump is the president, and that's his buddy. Yeah. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Really appreciate all my new followers and subscribers. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks.